Hey guys, Al here, Vitalized Seed. Got a lot of good feedback on the Buck stories, so I thought I'd actually go back in time. So this is 2016, I believe, and I think this was November the 13th. Obviously, that is not me. That is my cousin Zach. That was his first buck. We thought that this was before we started doing some Cementum annuli, so I wish we would have paid better attention earlier, but we were really just kind of learning as we go as far as bow hunting and everything goes. So this was his first buck. It also was his first bow buck. And we were hunting. We both were off from college and had a few days to hunt right before Thanksgiving. So obviously, for those of you who are familiar with Ohio, our gun season comes in the following Monday after Thanksgiving. So we decided to hunt, and I think we hunted like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or something like that, or at least that was the plan. That Sunday of 2016, the Sunday before Thanksgiving, we had checked cameras, I believe it was Friday, and we had seen this deer coming by this one stand set many, many times. And I had asked Zach very, very directly, I said, hey, would you be happy harvesting that deer? And he, of course, said, oh, absolutely, that's a great buck. And we decided to try to put him in a position to harvest that deer. So nothing real fancy, in all honesty. We went in, he had the wind in his face. He had hunted that Saturday evening. I think Saturday morning the wind wasn't right. So he had gone in Saturday evening and most likely saw this deer. There was like 2 or 3 bucks that had moved through like at last light, and they were fighting and grunting. And I just remember sitting at the dinner table that night, and he was all jacked up, and we got to both share our experiences. And then the next morning, the weather stayed the same, so he went back in there and ended up harvesting that deer. I believe it was like 8:30 in the morning, if memory serves me correctly. So it was just a really good, fun hunt, and it really kind of sparked a pretty good run for both of us. Zach ended up killing bucks 3 or 4 years in a row after this one, and then I filled in a couple there as well. So what this taught us about deer was this really kicked on a good path for us about using, as Mark Drury calls it, the most MRI, or most recent information. Now, this was before we were using cell cameras, but there were times where we decided to forego a hunt or go in, pull a camera, check a camera, and maybe by the time we did all that, we were not going to be able to get into a stand that was really the most ideal for that first hunt of a series of hunts. But now we had the MRI. So I always go back to that is if you can get your MRI right, and there's tendencies. I mean, I can't speak for every farm, but on our farm and other properties we have permission to hunt, we see tendencies of this buck likes X plot. He keeps going to X plots. And we would continue to get that MRI, look at our wins, and then based off that, we just don't have the time to hunt a deer, but, have 3, 4, 5, 7 shooters depending on the year. And we'd say, well, I'm going to go to the north end of the farm. I got a south wind. It's going to be in my face. And hopefully one of the 2 or 3 or 4 that are on that side of the farm are going to show up. And that's kind of the strategy we've used. And this deer really helped us to get started with that strategy and implementing that as far as our hunting plan goes. And, of course, how that strategically fits into our habitat plan with our vitalized food plots and trying to get stands in between food plots and feeding areas and clear cuts and what have you. So hopefully you guys like this series. I surely like looking back at all the memories and sharing some buck stories and little things that we've learned along the way. So get outside, enjoy the outdoors, guys. Have a Merry Christmas, and check us out at vitalizedseed.com.